More.
Sorry, that was for my courtroom. Okay, Shannon, put us on the record, please. This is the matter of Carrie Hastings versus Dusty Ratliff. And Ms. Hastings, this is your motion to terminate a PPO that was issued by Judge McBain back on April 1st. Give me just a moment. It's still your desire that I terminate this PPO?
Oh, yes, yeah. Oh,
yeah. Give me just a moment to read the petition. So, according to the PPO, this isn't the first PPO you've had against Mr. Ratliff, is it?
No, they were right consecutive in a row. I got a little too hasty. There was stuff going on at my house. I was pressuring him. I thought he was doing things that he wasn't doing. I didn't know that. I didn't listen to him. He didn't listen to me. And the person that was here was wanted by the police, and there was bad stuff going on. And I told him I wanted everybody out of here. I wanted everybody gone. That person gave him things, gave him tools, gave him stuff, got him to live with them, and then robbed him, and then proceeded to come here and rob me. I've been robbed twice. I don't have no protection here. Dusty's living in the streets because I put him out because I thought he was part of what was going on. He wasn't. I think we were being set up. I live alone. I'm sick. He's homeless. I have the police have been involved. I've caught the perpetrator on my DVR. It's been turned into the police.
So, Ms. Hastings, in reviewing the PPO, if it had come to me in the first place, I probably would not have granted it on an emergency motion. I would have required a hearing. I'm going to grant your request. I'm going to terminate the PPO. I will tell you, if there's another situation and you request a PPO, at least if it comes back to me, I'm not telling you I would deny it, but I would deny it on an ex parte basis. I would require there to be a hearing. It looks to me like the purpose of the PPO was for you to evict him from your home. I don't like to use PPOs for that purpose.
I agree.
There's an eviction procedure in district court, and that's the one you should follow if you want him out of your home.
I agree.
But I do not believe circumstances exist to justify a PPO. I'm going to grant your motion.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Yes, I just signed it. Have a good day, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Carter, I'm going to hear your case now. Mr. Gibson never did show up. So you both filed objections to the recommended order from the friend of the court. You objected that you were having to pay any child support at all. Mr. Gibson objected because the order credits him with 0 overnights, when in fact he has, according to him, 80 overnights a year. Frankly, it is unclear to me what in the world the friend of the court was doing here. Let me ask you, in all the paperwork that I got, it shows you with a monthly gross income of just a little over $3,000. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
It shows Mr. Gibson with income of just a little more than half that, of $1,574, And it looks like that's all from unemployment. Is that accurate?
I believe he's working now because I'm not getting what I was getting when he was getting unemployment. I'm getting like $188 every 2 weeks now. So I think he's working. I don't think I'm getting the unemployment payment or something to that effect. I'm not sure.
All right.
But yeah, that
so
sounds
Ms.
about
Carter,
right. The half sounds about right.
so Ms. Carter, here's what I'm going to do. Since you both filed objections, I am going to contact the friend of the court referee who did all of these calculations and try to get a better understanding of what it was that she was doing.
Is there? I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah, I can't make a lot of sense out of this. It's a little confusing to me. I mean, normally with child support, it's a simple formula. How many overnights do you get? How much is your income? We plug it into the program and it spits out a child support amount. So,
Yes,
and normally I go with that.
Yeah, the reason we had an issue, just to shine a little bit of light on the situation, the reason we had an issue is one of the children didn't come back home after the last visit. Right now, the kids are in Michigan. He does have 80 days. I have the rest of the year. All I want is for the order to go back to the original order, which is the very first order that went out when I first moved to Georgia, and everything will be fine. And that original order shows him with the 80 days, and I have the rest of the year. He has them for the summer, Christmas, Thanksgiving only.
So is that an order from back in 2017?
Yes. That was the original order when I first found my domicile and I moved.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Order.
That's not the right one, because this one shows you both living in Jackson. Let me flip ahead.
It should still be, if it's not 17, it's 19.
Yeah, I'll find it. Hold on.
$17 is when the case first started. You're right. It's 19. It would have been 19. I didn't realize the order said anything about 0 overnight.
Well, the one I'm looking at from February of 2019 shows no child support.
That's the one. It shows what?
It just shows no child support. 0. It says effective 2/1 of 19. Now let me see if there's something that modified that.
It's the only order that's showing that I'm responsible for getting them to and from Michigan for Labor Day.
That would be a custody parenting time order. I'm looking for a child support order.
I think it came out right after that. I'm sorry.
All right, well, hold on. I'm looking for it. Here's one from October of 2019 that shows Mr. Gibson paying you $762 a month.
That's the order. He was working at AirEquip at the time. That's the order. That's the one.
Okay, but he's not making that kind of money now. Why would I go back to that order?
Right. No, I'm not saying go back to those amounts, but what I'm saying is that's the original order that went out with the parenting time.
That,
He does have 80 days and I have the rest of the year. So if you're looking for numbers right now, what you asked me at the beginning of the call is accurate. He's making about half of what I'm making. So if you want to base everything based on that, with him having the 80 days and me having the rest of the year, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. I just can't have them taking $70 a week from me and me paying him when I have the children all year long.
all right.
The
I will look into this. I will talk to the referee. Once I understand what's happening here, I will issue what I believe is the correct order. Okay?
Okay, that's fine. Do you know how long this is gonna drag out? Because again, until we get another order, they're taking money from me.
It might be 2 or 3 weeks, ma'am.
Okay, I'm cool with that. I'm keeping a record of everything they're taking from me. I just want the income withholding order that they have right now. That's what my biggest issue. I don't want them to keep taking money from me because I'm financially responsible for them the entire year without his 80 days. I don't feel like I should be paying him anything. So that's my biggest argument. But if you're saying it's going to be another 2 weeks before I see something new, I'm okay with waiting.
All right, I'll get right on it, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're ready for Martinez versus Smucker.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, George. All right. This is Martinez versus Smucker. And I'm trying to figure out who else is. We've got somebody from Livingston County.
Yes, that would be Miss Parker. She is the appointed counsel, and there is Miss Madam Prosecutor in all her shining glory.
Yes. I don't see any parties present.
Your Honor, I'm calling my client. You know, he's moved to California, trying to get him on the phone. Not having any luck. I did give him notice of it, though. As you know, Judge, he was allowed to move to California after we resolved the criminal charges.
I know nothing about that, but that's fine.
Allow me to share that with the court, Your Honor.
And Ms. Parker, is Ms. Martinez present with you?
She's not present with me, Your Honor, and my office did inform her of this date, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on with them.
Well, I can't very well conduct a PPO violation hearing without a complaining petitioner. What's your pleasure, Ms. Parker?
Well, Your Honor, at this time, the people are unable to proceed, so I'll leave it to the court's discretion.
I'm going to dismiss the violation without prejudice. If Ms. Martinez chooses to renew it at some point, my guess is if Mr. Schmucker is now out of the state, that perhaps that's going to solve our issue in any event, and that's very likely why nobody's here today. Mr. Lyons?
I have no objection.
All right, I will dismiss the violation without prejudice.
Thank you much, Judge, and you have a great day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
All the pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons.
There's nothing in the file, Shannon.
Okay.
And the next matter is Shotwell versus Lane. I don't know why I've got so many stinking rubber bands on these files. I don't see an appearance from Joni Bibler, so I don't know what file she's here on. Let me see if I can find out. Ms. Bibler, are you there?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
What matter are you here on?
I'm here for Miss Riley, the PPO matter, Riley versus Riley.
Oh, okay. I didn't see an appearance, so I wasn't sure. Let's see.
Act was on it, and we filed an appearance.
I'm not saying you didn't, it just hasn't shown up yet. This is a matter of Riley versus Riley. Ms. Bibler, you represent Ms. Sandra Riley?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right, and I see Stephen Riley is present, so I'm going to bring him in. Mr. Stephen Riley, I'm calling your case now. So, give me a moment to take a quick look at the file. And I'm sorry, Ms. Bibler, I do see an appearance in here, but for whatever reason, they didn't put it on the docket sheets. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, Ms. Bibler, put your client under oath and have you establish a factual basis for a PPO. Ms. Riley, would you raise your right hand, please? You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
You put your hand down now, state your full name. Excuse me, I need to ask you to speak up.
Yes, sir. Sandra Riley. Sandy, I go by Sandy. My name is Sandra Riley.
Ms. Bibler, you need to get her closer to a microphone. I'm having trouble picking her up.
Sorry. My name is Sandra Riley. I go by Sandy.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Bibler.
Ms. Riley, I'm going to ask you some questions based on the PPO petition that we filed, okay? And I'd like you to answer yes or no for those, okay?
Okay.
Well, actually, just answer honestly on those. So can you please tell the court the status of your ability and tell the court about your physical condition?
I have both severe spinal stenosis in my lumbar region and my neck. And I also have a rare neurological condition called CRPS, for which there is no cure, and it is progressive and severely exacerbated by stress of any kind, really. And it has limited my mobility to the point where I'm basically bedbound. I have a very difficult time sitting, standing, or walking.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Riley. Can you tell the court about your relationship with Mr. Riley?
Mr. Riley and I married in 2017. And the relationship was very contentious, really, from the beginning. We divorced last summer with the expectation of him getting a full-time job and either moving out on his own or else contributing to the household. And that has not happened. Neither have happened.
Okay, and did your judgment of divorce say anything about your house specifically?
The judgment of divorce stated that the house would be in my name. And actually, we did a quick claim deed to transfer the title, the deed over to me, to my name.
Okay, and did it say anything about who had use of the home or?
The divorce agreement that Mr. Riley agreed to stated that I would have sole proprietorship of the home and use of the home.
Okay, and can you tell the court what the interactions between you and Mr. Riley have been?
There's been a lot of conflict. There's it's an emotional roller coaster that varies from hour to hour, sometimes second to second. And it's been very volatile, and it's become increasingly so, to the point where we just can't live, we can't coexist. We cannot coexist together. He gets violent. He gets aggressive and violent sometimes, and he's caused physical damage to me and physical damage to the property.
Okay, when you say physical damage to you, what do you mean?
He's grabbed my wrists. He's, he's choked me. He's, verbally threatened me. He's kind of bullied or manipulated me into doing things that I didn't want to do. I would say specifically sexually, but, it's just been, and I kind of never know what to expect from him.
When you say that he's manipulated you into doing things that you don't want to do, what kind of things besides just sexual?
Well, he requires a lot of marijuana to get through the day. And that's become a very, very expensive habit to try to support when I'm living on disability. It has precluded him from being able to find an appropriate job. So it's become a very codependent, toxic relationship, and one that I don't want to enable anymore.
So you indicated marijuana. He pressures you for marijuana. Is there anything else that he pressures you for?
Well, he has misappropriated monies that I've given him for a certain purpose and kept it for himself to spend on whatever it is that he spends it on. I'm not really sure. I can't, he is, in the past threatened, manipulated, bullied me into giving him my prescription medication, and has stolen it on numerous occasions. I've had to file police reports to report my medication missing, and even still, my doctor would not refill it. So it's put me in peril in not having access to the specifically Percocet that I've taken for this chronic pain condition that I suffer.
Okay, has Mr. Riley ever threatened you?
Yes.
Can you tell the court about that?
I could play this recording.
Okay, can you just tell the court about the threat?
He had been out, when he has gotten really aggressive or starts slamming things or yelling at me or whatever, I would, ask him to leave or tell him to leave, go take a walk, go calm down, do what you need to do. But, you're not going to be in here while you're being so aggressive. And he's come, where am I? I'm sorry.
I asked you if he's ever threatened you.
Yes, and one time he came back and we were kind of negotiating through the door, and I kept saying, you could humble yourself a little bit. You've just done X, Y, Z. You can humble yourself before you come in. And I opened the door, and he said, told me that he was going to cut my throat and cut my tongue out if I didn't quit talking to him that way. And I had not, at that point, I had not been inappropriate. And I was very, very calm actually prior to him coming inside. So that was kind of just out of the blue.
Okay. Is Mr. Riley always like this?
No.
And what seems to cause him to switch?
He's on a roller coaster, and it has, I think, a lot to do with his use of marijuana. And I suspect that, I'm not a therapist or a psychiatrist or anything, but I have suspected that he's got some mental or neurological issues going on. And I've implored him to seek counseling, to get help, to, even go in and tell them that he's homicidal or suicidal, to try to just get help, for himself, and he won't do it.
And do you feel safe?
I don't feel safe. I have to keep my medication locked up in a lockbox. I have to keep my bedroom door locked at all times. I have to keep my money locked up. I have to keep my key on me to be able to get into my bedroom or my med box. It's a constant, where's my key? Where are my meds? Are my belongings safe?
Okay. But you physically,
Physically.
you physically feel safe.
There are times where I absolutely don't. There are times where I'm scared for my life. When I called 911 when he busted the door down, I was scared for my life. Okay. And there are times where he gets so aggressive. And truth be told, it's usually when he wants marijuana and doesn't have access to it, or doesn't have the money for it, or has no way of getting it at that particular time of day or night. So, it's kind of one of the manipulative ways that he gets me to do what he wants me to do, is to bully me.
Okay, thank you. No further, Your Honor.
Mr. Riley, are there any questions that you would like me to ask Ms. Riley?
I cannot think of any questions that I was thinking directed at her. I did have a response
All right,
to the.
hold on. We'll give you that chance now. I need you to raise your right hand, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do. Yes, Your Honor.
And state your full name.
Stephen Michael Riley.
So, Mr. Riley, you currently reside in the same residence as Sandra?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and I did see judgment of divorce granted her exclusive possession of that property. Why is it that you're still living there?
Well, there were some documents signed, and there was, I guess, a question of that contract and that document, which never came up, which was vital kind of to this whole discussion. But, Your Honor, is this my opportunity to respond?
Well, yeah, but I want an answer to my question. Why are you still living in the house?
Because there were some documents delivered. I had no attorney. I had no understanding of those documents, as well as I had nobody follow through with what those documents or that contract said, which was a final contract written up by Jody from Sandy's father of a $5,000 check. I signed it. There's a story and a lot of activity to a lot of things. And, you know, I thought that primarily that this was about Sandy's ultimate protection. And I've been that person. And I am, you know, a lot of things have happened. I really don't want to go back and say anything that may incriminate myself or Sandy, because I am her protector. And, I mean, I'm still in this fight. I realize there's been a lot of mistakes made and a lot of things that can be improved. And I'm absolutely committed to doing that. And, well, really, that's just my kind of position. I don't know if from here on out, if I have a right for an attorney or, you know, I don't know these things, Your Honor. I served time in a camp that denied me of an education. I went into the military. I've been a working man. I've had all these documents coming around me. I don't even have time to look them over. You know, I'm concentrating on trying to take care of Sandy. And I think at heart, she knows that. And, you know, all of these questions kind of seem to feel more like a witch hunt. Now I realize that her protection and her welfare is certainly the subject at hand. And, you know, I'm committed and full-hearted and moving ahead in any way that I can in that aspect.
Is there anything else you think I need to know to
No,
rule
Your
on?
Honor.
All right, Ms. Bibler, do you have some questions for Mr. Riley?
Mr. Riley, you indicated that you didn't know what the divorce judgment was, but you also indicated during that process that you had an attorney review them. Is that incorrect?
I'm sorry that Your Honor, am I required by law to answer her questions?
Yes, you are, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just asking, Your Honor. So I'm sorry. What was the question again?
The question was, during the divorce process, it was a consent order that was entered.
You broke up a little bit.
You-
Ms. Bibler, start over.
I'm sorry. During the divorce process, you indicated to me and Miss Riley in written communication that you had an attorney that you were going to have review that document. Is that correct?
I've not been able to afford an attorney. Again, my primary dominant focus in life has been trying to take care of Sandy. And I realize it has not been easy. You know, being laid up here in this bed for years and me being the only person, and she's a very intelligent person, you know, they can come up with some very creative ways. And as I said, I don't wish to continue on with incrimination and pointing about, you know, sins and violations of the past. It stops a forward motion. I thought that was the theme on the card, next steps. Did that
I
satisfy
asked
your
whether-
question?
No, it does not. You didn't answer my question, Mr.
Sure.
Riley. I
I
asked
Okay.
whether,
I think, Ms. Bibler, I think there was an answer buried in there. You asked him, was it correct that he told you, or told your client that he had an attorney review the documents, but in his answer, he said he couldn't afford an attorney. So I take that as an admission on his part that no matter what he may have represented in the past, he did not have anybody review that document.
thank you, Your Honor. If the court feels the need for it, we do have recordings of things that he has said, the threats that he has said to my client. If it's not
So far,
necessary,
he
we
has,
don't need the.
so far, he hasn't rebutted any of those things.
I agree.
All right. I'm satisfied based on the testimony that Ms. Riley has been subjected to threats, to acts of violence, to acts of aggression. She's had her wrist grabbed. She's been choked. She's been verbally threatened. She's been bullied. She's been manipulated. She's had money stolen from her. She's had prescription drugs stolen from her. I'm satisfied that a proper basis for issuance of a personal protection order have been established today. I am going to grant a PPO. Mr. Riley, this is going to require that you immediately move from that residence. If you are found there in violation of the PPO, you will be arrested and taken to jail. That concludes our hearing today.
Thank you,
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so I'm gonna have to fill out this PPO later. I'll just write a note on it. And my guess is at some point she's gonna have him back. What do you think? Any predictions? And let's see. We have one more. You are Julie Shotwell?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Shotwell, we're
Hi.
here on your motion, I think, to set aside a personal protection order that was issued back in February. And I'm reading your motion. It says you were granted a PPO for stalking behavior. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a motion to hold him, to punish him for violating the PPO. Here's the problem. I don't have anything in the file to indicate that Mr. Lane was served with notice of this hearing today.
Yes. So this is my ongoing issue. He I don't know how to serve him. I don't have an address for him. I believe he is homeless or sleeping out of his vehicle. I have contacted his dad and his brother. Back in February, when you issued the PPO, it took me 6 weeks to have him served. And I gave copies to several neighbors. Plus, I tried to hire I tried to hire a process server, but because I don't have an address for him, I wasn't really able to get anyone to do that for me professionally. I have tried to serve him again by giving copies to my neighbors. He still drives down my block every day, but now he won't stop for people. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to serve.
So I know we had to publish for original service so that I could issue the PPO. I see that there was publication. The problem is, in order for him to be found in violation of a PPO, there must be proof that he was served with the PPO. How often? Go ahead.
My neighbor served him on March 17th.
All right, well, let me see if there's a proof of service in the file. Oh, okay.
It took
I do see that. He was served on March, on March 17th. So now we've got to serve him with a violation notice. How often does he drive by?
At least 5 times a week that I personally observe.
Have you ever called the police when he's driven by?
Yes, I have. I don't have the paper with me, but I called a couple times in April, and then and the second time he stopped, and I didn't see him for almost a month, and then towards the middle of May, and ever since the middle of May, I've seen him now sometimes 2 times a day. Sometimes like he'll stop. Like I didn't see him today or yesterday, but I saw him 7 days in a row prior. And I can call the cops every single day. I hate to use public resources that way, but I need him to stop.
And to your knowledge, he's not employed and he's homeless.
I believe he lives out of his vehicle. He has told his father and his brother that he's staying with friends, but I don't know who those people are.
Are his father and brother supportive of you?
Very much so. We all would like to see him get mental support help. He needs help.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how in the world we can get him served. So you don't really know if he's sleeping out of his car, you don't know where he's parking it at night.
No.
And you probably don't want to be anywhere near him to try to find out.
No, but last week, I was driving downtown and I saw his vehicle by a church that has sometimes has a food kitchen or pantry, but I can't serve him, you know. But I saw his vehicle and I saw him walking to it just by chance, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he has to be given an opportunity to defend himself at a violation hearing. There's got to be some way for him to be notified that there's a hearing. If he's served and he fails to show up, I can issue a bench warrant and have him arrested and brought in front of me. But I still need some method for serving him. Are his the supportive relatives, are they willing to try to serve him?
I asked, but they don't live nearby, and he hasn't gone to see his father That's, and I hate to ask that.
No,
I'm just,
I was assuming that his relatives lived in the same community. They don't. And you can't think of any other adult that would be willing to invest the time in tracking him down and getting him served?
no, not really. I mean, I could try to pay someone. Like I said, I've left a few messages with process servers, and nobody has returned my phone calls.
Yeah, it's very hard for them to serve somebody if they don't have an address.
Yeah.
And that's how they operate. They will go to an address, but it doesn't have to be a process server. It can be any person 18 years of age and older who just simply is willing to invest the time to try to track them down. Do you have a friend that might be willing to do that?
Well, the one person that I had that could do that, my neighbor has already served him, and he won't stop and talk to him anymore. So I don't know if I have another person like that.
Well, no. What I was thinking, for instance, you saw him at a church trying to get some food at a food distribution. Is that a situation where you could call the neighbor and say, "Hey, I see him. He's at such and such church. Can you come over here and serve him now?"
Yeah. Actually, on that day, I did. I have several neighbors that are trying to help me with this, actually, and my right next door neighbor, I turned around because I was only a few blocks from home, and I turned around to get her, and she and I drove by, and his vehicle was gone. So I mean, I'm trying. I'm trying very hard to.
All right. Well, let me do this.
He doesn't follow the when he drives by.
Now, let me do this, ma'am. I can't grant relief today, but I will take the time to look into this to see if there's an alternative way that we could get his attention. I mean, even if I issue a bench warrant, if the police don't know where to serve a bench warrant, it'll only get served if they happen to arrest him for something else. The fact that he's driving a vehicle, he must have some source of income. To pay for gas, to pay for insurance, if assuming he's got it insured.
I would not assume that. I think he may pick up odd jobs, and I think he has applied for assistance. He's old enough to, I think, draw Social Security. So his brother tells me that is how he, and I do believe his family. I think his dad gives him money. But I believe he's being dishonest with his father about where he's staying. And I think I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to be involved. I have to, I'm only engaged this far because he still drives by my house, and I have to find some way to hold him accountable so that he doesn't feel comfortable driving by all the time.
So even though he now has the PPO, he's still driving by your house.
Yes, absolutely. Except the thing I will say is prior to being served in March, he would stop and talk to the neighbors. So he would park on my street and park 2 houses down. And I had called the cops once or twice, and he would say that he was visiting this person, my neighbor. But now that person has served him, he doesn't stop. But he is driving by my house frequently.
All right, ma'am, I can't grant the relief today, but I am going to look in to see what else I could possibly do to help you. We will get in touch with you as soon as I have a plan going forward. I would tell you Definitely, if the police catch him driving by your house, they will arrest him. That unfortunately, they got to catch him in the act.
Okay.
If he's arrested, he will definitely be brought in front of me, and I will be able to deal with him.
Okay. I will say this. Like I said, I haven't been calling the police every time I see him, but I will now. I will just call every time, because the last 3 times that I called them, they've been so good, and they drove my neighborhood, and all 3 times that I called them, they pulled him over. But my address is on his driver's license, and they haven't caught him at my property, and so they haven't been able to do anything.
So they pulled him over, but when they pulled him over, he wasn't in front of your house?
Correct. Or on my block.
But did they see him drive by your house?
No, they pulled him over, in my neighborhood a few blocks over, and spoke to him about, and the most recent time that happened was after I had proof of service, and I showed it to the officer, and she told me, I didn't witness him, but I will tell him that, to not come by. And after that time, I hadn't seen him for a month, and I really thought he got the message. But now, like, the heat is off, and he's coming by all the time again.
All right. Well, the officer's right. They've got to catch him in the act. Just stopping him somewhere, unless he were to admit to it, they've got to catch him in the act. So I will look into this, ma'am. I need to leave now. I will do the best I can to try to get you some relief.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.